Hey guys, what's up? So I spent about the last week and a half working on the wooden PC case that I told you about in the last video. Maybe it was the one before that. I'd hoped to get it done inside of a week, but that's just not going to happen because it's already taken longer than a week. It seems like everything that I've done has taken like twice as long as it should, and part of that is because, I'm learning as I go. I'm learning how to do a lot of things that I didn't know how to do before I started this project, but I'm also having to make up for some faults in either tools that I just don't have that I have to, figure out a way to get around whatever I'm trying to do with that tool, or some of the tools that I do have aren't exactly perfect, and so I have to make up for inaccuracies in those things as well. But that's not a huge deal. I've made some pretty significant progress, and I'm pretty excited to tell you guys exactly what's going on. So the design of this case is based very heavily on the Dancase A4 SFX. It's a beautiful case and right up my alley in the ITX form factor. It's the smallest case in mass production that can fit a full-size GPU, but it comes at a very hefty premium. You pay, I think it's like $240 for that case. When I first decided that I wanted to build a wooden PC case, my original designs were based around the Ncase M1, which is another beautiful case. It's slightly larger than the Dancase, but with that size, they've also made it easier to accommodate for more types of hardware. You can use more fans, and there's just better airflow in general, which leads to typically a better performing system. And I think that was prompted because this Cougar QBX that I have right here is basically a budget Ncase M1. It's a very similar layout. It's just like a third of the price. But partway through my original plans, I realized that I was building a case for hardware that I don't even have. I was making it compatible with all sorts of configurations that I would never use. And when I realized that, I caught myself and then just went back and listed my parts and parts that I expected to use, and then built a case around that. And that gave me something that very similar to the Dancase A4's compatibility. And I think right then I just remembered, oh yeah, there's a Dancase that I could also build around. So then I just switched to that. So I don't like the way that the Dancase deals with airflow. It just sucks it in through the sides and then kind of lets the system dissipate it out the top and back and everything, and it's not very controlled, and it's not a deliberate action regarding where the air is being moved to once it's been cycled through the case. And I don't like that. I very much want everything about the case to be purpose driven, and I want there to be a reason for most of the features of the case. And since I'm making my own case, I can change whatever I want about it. So I made mine noticeably wider than the Dancase to allow for air to flow in the front and out the back. So it has 4 fans on the front that push air through the case and out some, I'm going to be putting mesh on the back of it so that nothing gets in, but so that the air can get out that way. So mounting the graphics card, the motherboard, and the power supply is going to be pretty much identical to the Dancase, and if I can get the measurements right, I'll also be adding glass panels, which I'm pretty excited about that because it takes the whole aesthetic to just the next level, and it'll look beautiful if I can get that done. So I really spent most of the week and a half preparing the wood. I was edge gluing a lot of pieces, and because edge gluing creates very uneven surfaces, I had to then plane down the pieces, and to do that I don't have a planer, and so I had to figure out a way to use the tools that I do have, and I found out a way to use a router to plane it down. So most of the time spent was edge gluing, planing, edge gluing, planing, edge gluing, planing. I did not secure any of the panels together, and that's deliberate. That'll make the rest of the process of cutting the right shapes and holes into the panels much easier because I don't have to maneuver an entire case. I can just maneuver one piece of wood and work with that. So I've made a point to do everything that I can before assembling all the panels together. Every bit of this needs to be deliberate. The less guessing there is, the less guessing I leave for Kai in the future, it's better for me. It's better for me in the future. It's better for me now because I know that, okay, this is very difficult to get wrong. I try to make things as foolproof as possible for the Kai in the future because sometimes he's kind of dumb and doesn't understand things, and there's so much I could teach him. but he just doesn't listen. So that's what I've got done so far. I made the panels, which was most of the time spent, and then I cut the grooves and insets into all the wood to make sure everything fits properly together. And then what I have to do now is I'm waiting on some parts, and I need to cut some properly shaped holes for the fans in the front and the graphics card, and motherboard I/O on the back, and also some holes in the center divide to allow for power cables to run from the power supply to the graphics card and stuff like that. Probably this coming week I should be able to get all of the holes properly cut into the panels, and hopefully there will be some parts that come in on time, and I'll be able to, you know, maybe mount the motherboard or something like that, and, you know, get more progress done so that it, you know, looks like it's actually going somewhere. So that's it for this one. If you want to catch the next videos as I go along and show updates to this project, hit the red button below. It should say subscribe, and there should be a small number next to it or something. Like, dislike, all that stuff, and I'll see you guys next time.